Good morning, everyone. I am Ruben Espinosa. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the 2025 Symposium, RaceB4Race Indigeneity. On the cover of your program, you'll see the stunning artwork of John Quick-to-See Smith. Along with the Garth Greenan Gallery, she graciously allowed us to use this image free of cost. On Friday, January 24th, John passed away at the age of 85. We express our sincere condolences to her family and friends. The Institute of American Indian Arts has set up a scholarship in her name, and we hope you will consider contributing. Also, as you'll see in your insert, our Saturday schedule has been slightly revised because, unfortunately, Melanie Newton was unable to join us this weekend. I also want to highlight that tomorrow evening we will have Tommy Orange as our distinguished speaker. That event begins at 6 p.m. in this room, so I hope you will all join us. And toward the back of your program, you can read more about our dynamic digital platform, Through Lines. You'll probably be seeing a lot of that this weekend. The project has been a labor of love for us, and we are incredibly proud of it. So please check it out and scan our QR code to receive updates on that. Finally, please note that as in years past, we are offering free headshots today from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and you can sign up for those headshots at the registration table. Okay, up front, I want to thank a host of people and organizations who have made this symposium possible. First off, and most importantly, thank you to Scott Manning Stevens, who conceived of the theme for this symposium and who brought all our wonderful speakers together. You'll hear from Scott shortly, but I just wanted to express my gratitude to Scott. It's been a true pleasure co-organizing this with you, Scott. We also want to thank the Mellon Foundation, the Hitz Foundation, the Henry Luce Foundation, the Humanities Institute at ASU, the ASU Office of the President, and the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences Division of the Humanities at ASU, and in particular, our amazing Dean, Jeffrey Cohen. Thanks also to the Folger Shakespeare Library for awarding travel grants to several of our attendees today. ACMRS also offers travel grants, and this is made possible through your generous support. When you donate to our travel grants, 100% of the money goes to these individuals, so please give and give generously. I also want to thank our RaceB4Race Executive Board, many of whom are with us today, so if I call your name, please stand up. Patricia Akimi, David Sterling Brown, Sita Shaganti, Urvashi Chakravarti, Kim F. Hall, Jonathan Shu, Farah Kareem Cooper, Dorothy Kim, Daniel Padilla Peralta, Shakufe Rajabzadeh, Scott Manning Stevens, Carla Maria Thomas, Ayanna Thompson, and Cord Whitaker. Thank you. I want to give a special thanks to David, Sita, Urvashi, and Shakufe, who will all be rotating off the board after this week's symposium. They've been instrumental in the success of RaceB4Race, and we are all deeply grateful to them. Throughout the next couple of days, you'll get to meet the people who make ACMRS so special and who keep us moving forward. Here, I want to offer my sincere gratitude to the best team at ASU. Yeah, that's right. Sue Cox, Karina Fitzgerald, Taylor Flamini, Todd Halverson, Jonathan Hope, M. McDonough, Carla McNeil-Baxter, Sarah Moser, Leah Newsom, Tanisa Saul, Laura Turchi, and our student workers, Paulina Soto and Andrea Zamora Chavez. Thank you all. Finally, I want to thank Ayanna Thompson. She's the reason all of this is possible, and she'll be the first to remind everyone that RaceB4Race is a collective, because it is. But we all know that this would not exist without her. I get to witness Ayanna's exceptional leadership, her unmatched generosity, and inspired vision on the daily, and I feel truly lucky for that. She's such a great mentor to a generation of scholars, and I feel fortunate to call her my friend. She's been through a lot since we last met for RaceB4Race, but she's still here, and she is a force. So thank you for giving so much of yourself. For all of you who are attending RaceB4Race for the first time, I want to welcome you, and I want to thank you for joining us. This is a special community, and we are thrilled to welcome you all into it. At the 2015 meeting of the Shakespeare Association of America, I was lucky to be a part of a seminar titled Early Modern Race, Ethnic Diaspora Studies. The seminar was organized by Peter Erickson and Kim F. Hall, who conceived of it after a series of what can only be described as public racist episodes at previous meetings of the SAA, and a seeming resistance of our academy to take seriously the vitality of pre-modern race studies. The seminar was standing room only for auditors, which is unusual for the SAA seminars, but it was clear that people were genuinely interested, invested even. At the end of the seminar, auditors were invited to ask questions, and one graduate student, a young black man, asked, "What advice would you give to an early career scholar who wants to work on early modern critical race studies, but who knows that such work might negatively affect their chances on the job market and on getting their work published?" It was an honest question, and I greatly appreciated Peter Erickson's honest answer to his question. Peter said, "Well, I won't sugarcoat it. It's going to hurt, and it isn't easy. But if we work collectively, it will definitely be a lot easier and better for all of us." What has come after that moment in the field of pre-modern studies, as I see it, is nothing short of a sea change. In that room in Vancouver, British Columbia, early modern scholars of color began to mobilize in earnest. The organization of that seminar led to the 2016 publication of the first ever special issue on Shakespeare and race in Shakespeare Quarterly. In their introduction to that issue, Hall and Erickson ask, "What will this discussion look like when we reach 2025? Looking forward to that time, they write, "We hope to see a revitalized, intellectually expansive, solidly established field for early modern race studies that attracts much larger audiences in both academic and public spheres." And here we are. This is our 10th RaceB4Race Symposium. I still remember when the announcement came out for the first RaceB4Race Symposium in 2019. I was in awe of the talent Ayana had assembled. I bought my airline ticket to Tempe and booked my hotel that very day. I remember distinctly how, after the symposium, I left ASU feeling energized, hopeful for the future of our field. I recognized in this event an alternative ethos of inclusion, a possibility for meaningful change, and RaceB4Race did change things. This was still in the before days, as we all know. The world shifted the following year in 2020. The truth is, though, that this symposium series started amidst a lot of turmoil for medievalists, for early modernists, and for the world at large. Indeed, RaceB4Race grew out of that turmoil. It survived that and survived the pandemic and continues to survive and to thrive. And I mention this because the pressures that sought to silence scholars of color were forceful then, and as we all know, they are forceful now. What we know is that those oppressive structures have a very long history, a history that we've explored through this symposium series over the last 6 years, a history that we will explore over the next 2 days, a history that we will continue to explore at RaceB4Race well into the future. These voices, our voices, cannot be stifled. What I value most about RaceB4Race are its people. In many ways, it is akin to other scholarly societies and conferences. Academic papers are delivered, intellectual communities gather, professional networking opportunities arise, we share in mediocre pastries, and unfortunately, Jeffrey Cohen's not here because he brings some great Bosa donuts usually. But the truth is, RaceB4Race is unlike any other scholarly society or conference. People are unassuming. We embrace an ethics of hospitality. Network opportunities are not self-serving. The community is sincere, it's generous, it's warm, it's intellectually stimulating, but it is also wildly affecting. It's inspiring. I promise, I am not being boastful here, but instead I say all of this because it is the people, it is all of you who make RaceB4Race so rich, so memorable, and so singular. This gives me hope. In the face of the turmoil that undoubtedly awaits us, I feel hopeful only because I will face all of this together with you. And I take my cue from Peter Erickson in imploring us to continue to work collectively. Thank you sincerely for being here and for sharing in this experience. Now sit back, enjoy some mediocre pastries, and join me in welcoming to the stage Scott Manning Stevens.
Sego Skanagoa Golongyok Dache Scott Manning Stevens Yonk Yachts. That is a Mohawk greeting, in which I say, I hope it is still the great peace with all of you. My name, Golongyok Dache in Mohawk. My settler name, Scott Manning Stevens. I am. And I am here to welcome you to a much anticipated moment. Ever since I've been coming to Race4Race, and certainly since I joined the board, I've wanted to see this focus on indigeneity because it's something that grows in intensity for me as I think about it, in hopefully in the most capacious ways possible. I think of when I first started looking at these issues when I was an undergraduate looking at early modern encounters in the Americas, in realizing why isn't indigeneity in the Americas always thought of as early modern? This is when the concept gets launched in the Americas, and this is, we're talking, 1492, as we all know, and yet it was always treated as a kind of 19th century phenomenon. And it got my mind working on issues around what was indigeneity before they came to the Americas. What was it for the Sami or the Irish or the Welsh in the face of English settler colonialism or Swedish and Norwegian settler colonialism? And so as a Mohawk man here in Akimelo Odom and Peepash territory, I'm keenly aware that no area is untouched by this phenomenon. Even as we tell the story of the United States as going from the east to the west, conveniently forgetting that the Southwest was dealing with the Spanish almost immediately. And by the time 19th century America arrived on the doorstep of New Mexico, Santa Fe had been founded in the 1607 or so. Right? But we just elide that. And I was so pleased that the organizers, who I want to thank profusely here, because it was great coming up with this kind of dream team list that we've assembled, but I couldn't have even done that without the help of my colleagues, because there are plenty of areas where I had interest but not great knowledge. And I was so pleased to have suggestions made, and even more pleased when people accepted our invitations. Also, of course, could not have done any of this without the ground crew here, without Ruben and his staff and the people who, they made all these logistical things happen. And please join me in applauding them, because it's, that is not my strong suit, I can tell you. I can get myself a plane ticket, and that's about it. But so when I was looking at the cover from Jean Quick-to-See Smith and thinking of her work, so often drawing on the cartographic imaginary over and over again, because that is that imaginary from the settler society that has attempted to displace, erase, overlie our stories, our histories, our places, our knowledge, right? And she kind of reminded us over and over again that we are here and our stories still exist and inform us, and we are happy to share them if we could find open ears and hearts to take them. So I'm looking forward to this, all of this, next 2 days, because we're going to be telling our stories, the stories that come not just from our home communities, but from our research, our knowledge, our studies, and bringing those things into conversation with this larger concept of indigeneity. So thank you all for coming. Thank you to the participants, and I am looking forward to this so much. Nyaweh Goa, a great thank you. Thank you.